1, 2, 3.
I'm abundant!
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's go.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Black and Abundant Podcast, the #1 podcast for Black abundance and love and wealth and all of the things that you really truly desire deep down in your spirit. We are Jamal and Nia Jackson. How you doing, babe?
Hey, like I tell everybody, what's good, folks? I am being black, blessed, and abundant out here in these streets. You feel me? How about you?
I'm great. I've been taking it slow. I got a slow day today. I'm excited to just flow through life.
Let's get it. Me too.
So, anything that you want to talk about before we dive into the topic?
Hey, look, I'm off the dome today, so whatever you want to talk about, let's get it.
He don't even know the topic. He don't even know the topic.
Let's get it.
So, okay, sure, let's do this. All right, so I picked a topic that I think a lot of you would love to hear. And the reason why I picked it is because our mentor asked us a very good question the other day. And I was like, okay, I definitely think we should talk about this. So the topic is soul providership. Yay. Okay. How does that make you feel? This is his first time hearing the topic.
Let's roll. Let's get it.
Bet. Cool. Well, let me give y'all a little background. So we were talking to our mentor the other day. Shout out to Naveen. And he has been helping us with social media branding and stuff like that. But way back in September of last year, Naveen was having a conversation with us, and he was talking about how him and his wife operate in their marriage. And Naveen has been the sole provider in their family for a long time.
Shout out to Naveen, by the way. That's my dog. That's a real one.
But for Jamal and I, at the time, sole providership was always something that I feel like we never really talked about it, honestly. It was never really on my radar. I was always kind of comfortable with both of us providing in a relationship financially. That's how I always saw women growing up. So it was never really like an issue for me. I never really truly pressed the issue. However, when Naveen brought it up, it made us both like question, I wonder what it would be like. And the type of people that we are and the way that we operate in our marriage is we're always willing to try something, especially if we feel like it could benefit our relationship in the long run. We're willing to give it a shot at least once, right? So we decided to give it a shot, and we've been doing it ever since. So I wanted to use this to really talk about what that's like, because the other day Naveen asked us, or he asked Jamal, like, how do you like it? Because normally when he brings up, things that he does in his marriage to other men, they don't necessarily apply it to their marriage. And it has to do a lot with ego and pride, which I definitely want to talk about at some point in this podcast. But the point is, not many people are willing to adopt it, especially if it comes from another man. But Jamal did. And so I want to talk about what that journey has been like for you, babe, the benefits, the setbacks, how you feel about it, the whole nine.
Word, you want me to just dive into it?
Dive. I have a question for you, and I want you to be really honest with yourself. Do you know that you need to heal, but maybe you just don't know where to begin? Or maybe you see that your trauma is holding you back and slowly destroying your relationships. Maybe you don't even understand what you're feeling, but you know that you're tired of going through the same problems. If that resonates with you, I can tell you why you're probably feeling that way. It's because you don't know how to control your fucking emotions. And no, I don't mean suppressing them. I mean processing them, addressing them, and reflecting on them so that you can have better discernment and higher intuition. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to teach you in my How to Control Your Fucking Emotions masterclass. Not even 10 years ago, I overdosed. I had depression, generalized anxiety disorder, I was in an abusive relationship, I was self-harming, and I was having anxiety attacks almost every day. Fast forward to today, I'm emotionally stable, extremely confident, happily married, and loving life. I'm a completely different person. But how did I do it? I committed to increasing my emotional intelligence through study and consistent practice. I've already sorted through all of the bad advice online and trial and errored my way to emotional freedom so that you don't have to. I'm giving you a decade worth of expert level information on emotional intelligence in a 2-hour beginner friendly class. This is honestly information we all should have been taught as kids, but generational curses, am I right? So do your kids a favor and break the cycle now. I'm going to teach you everything that I know. And honestly, I could charge you at least 5 bands for it. But it's only $97. Oh, and the first 100 orders are 50% off. So if I were you, I would hurry up and visit www.nialovecoach.com/emotions or click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the episode. But first, don't forget to take that and apply it.
What the journey has been like for me, to be real with y'all, has been one of the most difficult, hardest journeys that I've ever experienced. I've ran multiple marathons. Marathon running is easy to me. I've done a lot of hard stuff, but this one has definitely required me to level up and challenge myself in ways that have not been challenged, but the way that I look at it, it was where I'm going with my life and what I'm called to do with the man that I desire to be, which is reaching utmost self-mastery. I knew for sure that this was a journey that I needed to take for myself, because I realized that when it comes to men and manhood, we be so one-sided when it comes to our developing as men, but we don't consider the other aspects of that journey to leveling up to new levels of being a man. So I'm a watcher. I watch. Shout out to Naveen. I see how he moves. I see what he's doing. I see his energy. I see his vibe. I see how he's respected. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff. I watch all this stuff. So why would I not want that for myself? I don't want to be Naveen, but I admire aspects of how he goes about his life. So when one guy recognizes a guy in another, I see the guy in him. Bro, shout out to that. So yes, I want that for myself. So, but I understand that a lot of people, well, in regards to me, the challenge for me is learning how to put my ego to the side and recognize when somebody else in the form of another man has something that's working for them. The challenge here is removing envy and replace it with aspiration. And that's a whole journey in itself. So, and I saw it as hey, I desire to be the man who can at drop of a dime tell ego to go sit your ass over there and channel aspiration energy, because at the end of the day, it's enough room for all of us at the top, but you won't recognize that if you don't know how to put your ego to the side. So for him, he on some big dog energy, some big guy energy, and I see what he had in his life. So I'm like, hey bro, I want some of that. So, and that comes with a whole process in itself. And one thing that we talk about all the time is that when you commit to a process, you have to stay diligent and go through the painful process of change, because the reality is that I had to let go of that version of myself that I got comfortable with and what the world has programmed me to be, and accept a new untraditional way or a new version of myself that requires more of me in the way that I am when it comes to my spiritual way, my physical, my energy, emotions, and all that stuff. Going through that's what made the whole process hard. It's not just, okay, yeah, I want my wife to be, I want to be the whole soul provider. What I realized that there's so much that comes with that journey, and a lot of men that really don't want that smoke for real. But I know what I'm here for, and I'm here to take paths that a lot of men are not meant to take. And I see that he took that path, and it's not many men out there like that. So I'm not here to be like all these average niggas out here. That's not my call. That's not my purpose. My purpose. My calling is to be that motherfucking one, the God in my reality, in my world. So I'm like, bet I'm gonna go through whatever I need to go through, but most importantly, I'm gonna grow through whatever I must grow through to get that outcome. And it's been one hell of a journey, but now, scratch that, it's been one heaven of a journey, because the man that I am today, bro, it's like night and day. I don't remember that old version of myself. And it's been the best decision that I could have ever made for myself as a man. So once again, shout out to my dog, Naveen. Hey, bro, I'm just getting started. We gonna leak up. You already know what it is, bro. So thank you. Thank you for setting that big guy example. Real talk.
I love that. I love seeing Black men love each other and be friends, be in community. Is so great. But I want to say that one thing that I've always admired about Jamal is he's willing to humble himself for the greater good. I personally believe it is a requirement if you desire to be a husband, if you desire to be a leader or the head of a family, you have to learn how to master your ego. And I understand for a man that can be a very difficult task. Because of course you naturally come with that pride, that wanting to pave your own way and be your own leader. However, leaders know how to be led.
This is more than credit repair. This is a movement. For too long, you've been told no, denied, overlooked, held back. But what if I told you that ends today? At J-Scope Capital, we don't just fix credit. We shift mindsets. We break cycles. We create new beginnings. This isn't just about a credit score. This is about your future, your family, your freedom. Because real wealth starts in the mind before it ever reaches the bank account. That's why we educate. That's why we empower. Every signature on a contract, every approval, every new key handed over, it starts with a decision. The decision to take back control. Your past mistakes, they don't define you. Your future is waiting. The only question is, are you ready to claim it? This isn't just about credit. It's about community. It's about shifting your entire reality. It's about stepping into your power. And we don't just talk about it. We show up. We educate. We execute. Because when one of us wins, we all win. You deserve this. Your future self is waiting for you to make the move. Start today. Visit start.jscocapital.com. No more waiting. No more hoping. It starts now. J-Scope Capital. This is a movement. Be a part of it.
At the same time, leaders also know how to follow, and that's what makes them great leaders because they put themselves in the seat of their followers before. Like, I appreciate that Jamal is able to take, constructive criticism, regardless of who it comes from, whether it's a man or a woman or whatever, and be able to put himself to the side and adopt whatever is going to be best for his mission, his vision, and his family at the end of the day. Like, sole providership is not something that can be taken lightly, and I don't think it's something that every man can do. Just being honest, not every man is built like that. A lot of men are focused on quote unquote being fair, and they don't understand that the value that a woman adds to a relationship is more physical than, or more spiritual than physical than anything else. It's more emotional and mental than it is physical. But men like to count and be like, oh, well, if I'm paying all the bills and she need to be washing all the dishes and cooking all the food and stuff like that. And I appreciate that Jamal doesn't look at me or look at our roles or look at our marriage that way. At the end of the day, it's a partnership, and whatever works best for the partnership, it doesn't have to be quote unquote fair or physically fair. He sees the value beyond what we can quote unquote provide to the relationship. So I appreciate that about you, babe. The fact that you're able to be so humble. I think that's what makes him such a great husband, what makes him such a great provider. But I had a question for you. I want to ask you, like, specifically, what changes have you seen in yourself since we stepped into this new role? What struggles did you feel like you had to go through within yourself, and what changes did you see on the other side? That laugh is scary. What's up?
Great question. I thought I was uncomfortable before. This is a different level of uncomfortable. And once again, let me make this very clear. It's so multifaceted. Mm-hmm. And it's levels to this shit, bro. What I mean by levels to it, like, if you thinking that just being a sole provider financially is what it's all about, bro, I'm sorry, bro. You ain't ready. You don't get it. But I want you to get it. I want you to. I want them to. But there's just some certain things you don't understand until you just commit to that process. So the changes, yes. When I made that decision, I knew that when it comes to financial responsibility, it's all on me. It's taking that load off of your plate. Number one, we can talk about that aspect, just how I see it from the woman aspect, the feminine aspect, just removing that obligation off your plate, which is, that should be a whole topic by itself. But the other challenges, which is I've never experienced this amount of kind of spiritual growth in my life. It's like I'm going through some type of change every single day, which is you're bred and taught to go this traditional way in your manhood and life. But when you make a decision to go take the road less traveled, the untraditional path, at the end of the day, it's your sole way of thinking. Like, you have to think for yourself. You have to solution find for yourself. You have to go on a journey of like, nobody's coming when you decide to go like off the track that you've been programmed to go to, and now you trying to carve your own path, bro. Like, you have no excuses. You have no like, come save me type energy. Like, no, it's there you for yourself. And when you in that space, it's easy to like renege on your word. It's easy for you to go back to what's comfortable, what you're used to. It's easy to buy into, oh, the world's think you stupid and crazy. Why would you want to carve your own path where everybody else is going this way? It's easy to buy back into that. So most of the journey is me waking up each and every day and standing on my motherfucking word. That's the hardest part. Just
what
being
makes it hard?
Because think about it. The most powerful thing that a man has is his word and the commitment that you make to yourself. And every single day I have to wake up and honor my commitment to myself. Like, I see the outcome, but can you stand the fire? So in order to stand the fire is waking up each and every day and honoring your word and standing 10 toes down on what you said that you was going to do. Everybody want to be great, but everybody don't want to do what it takes to be great. Let me take that back. Every man, I can't speak for every man. There's the man, and then there's the man that take the road less traveled. I'm that motherfucker right there. And I'm just making it very clear. I realize this path, this journey has solidified within me. I'm not like every other man out here. I'm not meant to be like every other man out here. I'm meant to set the example, carve my own path. And whatever comes with that path, brain and smoke, it is what it is. I'm gonna come out on top. I know I'm gonna come out on top and this process has taught me to continually trust myself, self-trust. Ain't no other path that I ever taken in my life has built self-trust like this path for me become a sole provider. And I honor and I love that more than anything else in regards to what it has done for me in my life. The intangible values that you don't see and the stuff that men don't get until they go on a path of road less travel. So until you're ready to take the road less travel, don't come talk to me, bro. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to try to explain. I'm not here to try to defend. No, it is what it is, bro. So because there's just some things that you don't understand and you won't understand it until you take that road. But it's there for you to take whenever you want to. So
that's so good, babe. That's so good. And I also want to add to the change that I've seen in him personally. One, I have never seen Jamal so confident than since he decided to become the sole provider. Like, it has given him such a confidence and a belief in himself. He does not shrink anymore. He does not, what's the best way that I can put it? He doesn't shrink away from a challenge, or he doesn't shrink away from showing just how powerful he is. He walks into a room and he owns it. He completely owns who he is and in his identity. He's comfortable in who he is because he knows he's been showing up consistently and staying true to his word and building that confidence. Like, not saying that he wasn't confident before, but there's levels to it. There's definitely levels to it. Like before he became the sole provider, we had each other's back. Like if finances were in a disarray, either one of us could go get a job. Either one of us could make a sale. Either one of us could go out there and shoot an offer. You know what I'm saying? But when he became the sole provider, he no longer had that thought in the back of his mind that, oh, if I don't got it, my woman got my back too. You know what I'm saying? At least in the financial regard. So it forced him to be in a seat where he literally has to depend on himself. And because he knows that he can depend on himself, it has greatly built his confidence and his ability to lead from a place of power and not feel insecure about his leadership. Look at the way that he's talking. A lot of men can't even talk like that, but that comes from the results and showing up consistently. So I'm proud of you, babe.
Appreciate that, baby.
Anything that you want?
Hey, look, I'm just, wow. That sounds good. I love it.
Great. Now I want to talk about the other side of things, because people look at sole providership like the woman is the only one that's benefiting here, which is why I wanted to go deep into the transformation that Jamal has undergone. But also I want to say this as well. We did not become like super financially successful until he became the sole provider. And I know that sounds like contradictory, because you go from like having two incomes to having one, right? But I remember right before he became the sole provider, I actually did have a job, but it was contract. It was only like maybe 3 or 4 months, but I did have a job at the time. But then when the job ended, the contract ended, that's when he stepped into sole providership. So you literally go from me bringing home like several thousand a month to literally not. So now he has to step up and cover all of those things. But I will say, like, the month that he became sole provider was literally our best month in business to date. That's when we had the most clients that ever came in to date. Because it's not just about the physical piece, it's the spiritual shift that you undergo and the belief that he had to adopt. Again, that confidence that he had to adopt and that faith that he had to have in himself. It pushed him even harder to like really go out there and like make them offers and not be afraid and be 10 toes down, bold, soul told about his value and what he has to offer to the world. And because he decided to take on that role, he truly stepped into that power, and then abundance just started to flow in. Mm-hmm. So I want you guys to recognize it's not just a benefit for the woman as the world may make it seem. It also takes the man to a different level, and then abundance starts to naturally attract to him because of that.
Man. Another thing to add on to that is that I realized that when I assumed the position of being sole provider, what came with that, the only way that this will work is when I started to see myself as a man of extreme value. The only way to bring more money financially, or the only way to elevate spiritually, emotionally, all those areas, you have to see yourself as more valuable. Increasing my value. And that was another thing, is that I literally had to raise my value as a man. But in order to do so, I had to see myself as a man who can become and be more valuable.
That was a bar.
So everything in our lives changed when I started to do the internal work to know that I'm a valuable motherfucker out here. You can't tell me nothing different. Mm-hmm. And that's what the process, me committing to that process, going back to stepping into that fire, that a lot of men out here ain't ready to do so. And it's there for the taking when you want to. But like I said, roll less travel. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to travel that bitch. That's just me.
And Jamal alluded to this earlier, but what he just said, that is a full spiritual shift. Because in order to step into your power like that, you have to figure out how to overcome the negative beliefs that block you from that. It's almost like your negative beliefs that were built due to trauma built this wall. in front of you, and all of your power, your true potential, your value is on the other side. You just have to uncover it by uncovering those bricks one by one. And that's what he means by every day has been a different spiritual battle, because when you're bred to think a certain way, when you are programmed to think a certain way, and you've been running those same programs for years and years and years, it's not easy to undo. It takes some deeply introspective work in order to do that. And that can be scary. That's very uncomfortable. Even though we seem to be very comfortable, we are uncomfortable on the daily. Y'all just see the physical. Y'all don't see all of the spiritual and emotional and mental shifts that we're going through underneath in order to be able to tap into this power that we're delivering to y'all.
Mm-hmm. Straight up. You preaching, baby. Keep talking your stuff. Keep talking.
That being said, I want to transition into what this has done for me as a woman.
Before you do that, there's something very important that I need to make note as well.
Okay.
People that's watching, can we just take a moment to acknowledge how motherfucking good my wife look right now?
Every episode.
Wait, hold on, let me talk. Hold up. You looking like a good old butterscotch, chocolate chip butterscotch. This brown on you matching your skin tone with your hair, them eyebrows, your skin just popping, them lips. Just everything. Your energy right now, you just looking like a supreme. I don't know, but like, baby, you look good. You want some kids?
Chris, I'm gonna need you to go in the room and blast some music.
Oh, yeah. You already know what it is, but baby, you look so good right now. And the world needs to take note of that. Shout out to my natural women out there who value natural. Making it very clear. Shout out to y'all. Don't let this world program to think that you need to put external things on yourself to make you feel good about yourself. You feel me? I'm making that very clear. Is it on me? I'm making it very clear. All right. Cool, baby.
You better lead
look
them,
amazing,
baby.
You look great.
Thank you, babe.
But please,
continue.
What you was about to say.
Yes. I also want to shout out Chris on the ones and twos.
Shout out to Chris.
Behind the camera. This is her first time, so don't judge her too bad.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. But either way, going back to the topic, what this has done for me as a woman. So I know that there are a lot of Black women out there who have this mentality that they have to take care of everything. I know for me, I grew up in a household and a family, a very maternal family, seeing women handle everything, women being the protector, the provider, the nurturer. And I mean, even the nurturing part going kind of without, because they had to step into a more masculine role of protecting and providing. So I grew up believing that it was the woman's responsibility to provide in a way. That we were supposed to work. Like, again, that independent Black woman syndrome. And I attached a lot of my worth and my value to my ability to provide, my ability to show up, which I'm sure a lot of women out there who are listening can relate to that. Like, I was definitely the type of woman, I saw a video the other day on Instagram, and she was talking about how we don't talk about how depression can show up in Black women as them overachieving.
Wow.
I'm like, wow, because that was definitely me. I was the overachiever. I've told you guys before that I was the one who got straight A's, and I made sure to graduate with the highest honors from college and get the engineering degree because I thought that was the most upstanding degree that I could get without being a doctor, because I hate blood, right? But I've gone all my life like trying to be in all the clubs, get all of the awards. I was in like 4 national honor societies. Why do you even need to be in all of those things? Because I had something to prove, or I felt like I had something to prove. Like, I've been told since before I was born, it was prophesied that I would be the quote unquote savior of the family. So I always had this pressure on me to provide financially in the best way that I could, because seeing my family be poor and all, like 99 of their problems being about money, I felt like the only way that I could truly save my family is by providing financially and showing them that I am worthy of being able to attract or make all of this money and all of this success so that I could give it back to my family. So my entire life, I've been grinding, figure out how can I do this? How can I accomplish this? How can I make this? Because that's going to make me more worthy. That's going to show them that I am fulfilling my destiny of being the savior, right? So when Jamal put me in a position to sit my ass down, where I no longer had to provide, I no longer had to accomplish anything, and he told me that I could just sit here and be. Imagine the can of worms that opened. Like, y'all, the past 6 months have been some of the hardest 6 months that I have ever experienced. And I've had some pretty difficult times in my life. Like, I've been depressed. I've been suicidal. I've been like what I call rock bottom, but this is very different. I'm not sad. I'm not hopeless. I'm actually the happiest I've ever been. I'm actually the most hopeful that I've ever been. I'm actually the most faithful that I've ever been before. But the hard thing is shifting from that survival mentality, that I have to prove my worth mentality, to already accepting my power and my worth. That shift is the hardest thing that I've ever gone through. It's a transition of recognizing that even though the external circumstances aren't changing, like even though I'm not bringing in money, even though I'm not accomplishing a bunch of things, or I have all of these accolades at the moment, like even though the external circumstances aren't changing, everything internally is changing. And I feel like I'm a different person on the inside, even though on the outside, nothing appears to be changing. So I've been put in a seat where I have to sit down with myself. And my question to y'all is, when's the last time that you actually sat with yourself? Sat with yourself in a place where you don't have to chase anything. You don't have to provide anything. Every decision that I used to make used to be around money for some reason. In some way, shape, or form, it was around money. How can I make money? Essentially, every decision that I made. But I was put in a position where I no longer had to make decisions centered around money. So now all of my decisions could be centered around myself and my purpose. And that is a powerful place to be in. And now that I've detached myself from that providership, I can fully step into my role as a wife, my role as a woman here on this earth, and what I feel like I was sent here to do. Now I can make decisions solely from purpose, solely from a pull, solely from flow, rather than trying to force everything in order to get this external outcome. And because I can make decisions from a place of flow, that is why abundance has been flowing to us without us having to try as hard as we used to. We don't work as hard as we used to, not in the same way. We don't physically work as much as we used to. We switched all of our work to spiritual, and that is why abundance has been able to flow.
Talk your talk. That's some good stuff, baby. Have you noticed any adjustments in regards to just the feminine aspect of yourself?
Of course.
Can you talk about that? Like, what happens on the feminine side of a woman, or in versions of yourself? What have you noticed shift within that aspect of you?
I've always been an extremely feminine woman. I hated being single. Oh my God, being single was literally the worst, because like when you're single, you have to be both masculine and feminine in order to like provide and protect yourself. And I hated being in that space because it was so uncomfortable to me. Like, even though I was raised to be a more masculine woman, like the way that my mom was, but she adopted that because of survival, right? But she was trying to teach me how to be more masculine in order to protect me, how to depend on myself and only myself in order to protect me. But that just never sat right in my spirit. I just never sat right in my spirit. So this transition into completely relaxing in my feminine was easy for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been waiting for that. But I didn't even recognize what it truly meant to fully relax into your feminine until Jamal did this. Like, y'all, I am in a place where I am so safe. I've never felt safe before. Not like this. And I don't necessarily mean like if somebody busts in the house today, like not necessarily in that regard, not saying that I don't. But what I mean by safe is emotionally safe. Like, to me, femininity is the spirit of flow. Like, just going with whatever you feel pulled to, being fully tapped into that spiritual side of you, being able to once again make decisions from a spiritual place, being spirit led. To me, that is the pure essence of femininity. So I can really step into that nurturing role of like being there for my husband. Y'all, if you did not know this before, I learned, and I feel like a lot of people don't know this, but I learned that the true role of a woman is to protect her family in the spiritual realm and like emotionally. Like, I recognize that my role as a wife is not to cook and clean and do all of that shit. I mean, yes, to some degree, but that's not my true value. That's not my true essence. What makes me a great wife, what makes me a great woman to my husband is the fact that I can protect him and connect him deeper to his intuition, keep drawing him back to his true self and reminding him of who he is. Like Jamal was saying the other day that he's been feeling more like emotional lately. And I recognize it's because I've been able to create such a safe space for him to be emotional. But being emotional isn't a negative thing. We associate emotions with weakness, but emotions is actually the way that God communicates with you. It's the way that we are able to connect to the spiritual realm. It is what makes us human, right? So I recognize that my goal is to constantly remind him of that, constantly bring him back home, bring him back centered. That is my role, to keep the environment peaceful and conducive for him to provide. But yes, I hope that answers your question.
Good, boy, that is some good stuff. Oh my God. I feel like we need a part 2 for this. We can go on and on for this one, but this need to be a whole segment for real. Because as I'm thinking, it's some other stuff that we can just unpackage.
Is there anything that we here, baby. So
no. This is good. Like, hey, I just want to encourage the women out there, and feminine woman, not just a woman, feminine woman, right? But if you out there and you looking for that, you need that, keep tacking it with my woman, with my wife.
I'm sure y'all have already seen an ad for the How to Control Your Fucking Emotions masterclass. But that's a big part. Again, remember I said that the role of a woman and a wife is to protect her husband in the spiritual realm. And part of that is controlling your emotions and learning how to harness them in order to receive spiritual messages. But masterclass, link in bio. But continue.
Is it?
Really?
Do you remember the conversation about the other day was talking about the target audience?
Bring your mic closer.
The target audience?
Yeah.
Should we just go ahead and, how do you feel about me just go ahead and making that public? This in real time.
Sure, go for it.
All right. To my women out there.
Don't say nothing too crazy. Keep in mind, they don't have the same understanding that we do. Not saying that y'all are, but just saying we think different and we operate different and we on the same page, and sometimes y'all not gonna get that. But
you can say that. Because of that, I don't want to steer the ones who don't get it yet down the wrong path, because it's gonna be a lot of y'all motherfuckers out there just gonna, and I refuse to go down because of that. Nope. So I'm gonna just wait.
What?
We're gonna wait till next episode. It's all good. It's all good. Don't even worry.
Okay. So, all right. I leave that up to you, baby. Random wisdom before we get out of here. You got anything for him?
Sure. To my guys out there. Hey man, look, if you want the cheat code, here's the cheat code to getting everything that you want. Learn how to tame your ego and start valuing emotional awareness more than anything. Because emotional awareness is the superpower here. And that's ultimately like has been the biggest blessing and positive change that I've noticed within myself on this journey. Like a woman love an emotional aware man, a real feminine woman loves an emotional aware man. And I'm not talking about just like soft, but just knowing how to anticipate a woman's need before she even has to say anything. I'm talking about that type of, and that's a whole nother, you know what?
I swoon.
That's
All the ladies just
look,
waterfall.
Look, I'm just letting y'all know that's the type of time I'm on. So back to what I wanted to say earlier. I'm gonna wait till next episode, but just know your boy got some stuff cooking, and just be on the lookout. Okay, that's my what's the random wisdom? So yeah.
I love that man. I'm glad I snatched him up before y'all could. Lord have mercy. But anyway.
Shout out to the journey once again. Shout out to my dog, my guy Naveen, man. Like I would have never came to these realizations and revelations if he didn't put it on my radar. He saw the value and guided me to even just drop that. So we locked in for life, my guy, like real talk.
And shout out to you for being obedient. For being able to submit to another man's leadership because you saw the value. That's true strength. Not a lot of men can do that, baby.
Man. I hope he watched this episode for sure, man.
Oh, we gonna tell him.
Yeah,
Send it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right.
Ready?
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, once again, my name is Nia Love Jackson, and this is my husband, Jamal Jackson. And this was the episode. I don't even know the number. Whatever. This was another episode of the Black and Abundant Podcast. We'll see y'all next time.